Hey, everybody. Hello there.
Hi, guys.
This is Sexy Nerd Science. Sexy Nerd Science.
Man, this is why I do it.
This is right.
Hey, everybody. This is Sexy Nerd Science, Season 4, Episode 28. And we can say that with confidence now because this is the second time we've started our episode.
Woo, second time.
We are coming to you live from my basement in Dale's computer room, as always. So we got a good show for you here. As always, like I always say, I'm thinking that we're just, I think we're at the end of the year here. The snow has fallen, and
Friends are calling.
Yeah, friends are calling.
Yoo-hoo.
Poo-hoo.
Did no one get that Christmas song joke?
No, I don't.
Snow is falling and friends are calling you.
Yeah, that was the joke.
That was the joke.
Oh,
Yeah. Went right over that forehead of yours.
Right over. So we're hanging out, and we're gonna do a wrap up show for the year.
I just fixed this phone.
Oh god. Oh my god. We're gonna do the wrap up show for the year.
Thanks, buddy. Too fat, big belly in the way.
So we're gonna talk about all the sexy, nerdy, and sciencey things we did over 2018. This will be our last stream and episode for the year. Dale and I might pick up some slack with doing some game streaming throughout the next couple weeks here.
I might join in on some of those.
And yeah, Josh may as well, if he's gonna do that. And then what we can do is just hang out and with our nice out.
That's right. And you might be asking yourselves, hey, Sexy Nerd Science, why are you doing this on a Tuesday? I thought you guys usually record on Wednesdays. Well, we're doing it on Tuesday because I'm going to see a movie tomorrow, and it's going to interfere with this. So I'm going to go be seeing Once Upon a Deadpool tomorrow, and I was kind of excited for that. When I ordered the ticket, I did not know that there were going to be other times to go see it because I thought it was just a one-day event only. But apparently there's other times I could have seen it. So
live and learn.
It made Dale very happy. Not really. But so we're recording today instead of tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm going to go see Into the Spider-Verse. So we're going to have a lot of movie talk to not talk about in the next week or so here. Just now realizing the error in our recording ways. This is the look of, this just dawned on me. But yes, we're going to have a lot to talk about movie-wise. Probably going to be posting some things on SexyNerdScience.com and maybe just talking about it in general. But my whole thing, I'm excited. Me and Drew got into this earlier, and I just want to talk about it since we might not be able to talk about it later.
Well, hold on. Okay, we'll talk about this, but then we're going to do a year recap.
I know.
We're going to talk about the things.
But I think this is awesome,
right,
good topic.
Let's do it.
So I want to go see Deadpool, the remake. Not remake, the redo of Deadpool here, the PG-13 redo. And my biggest criticism that I've gotten from this is, Josh, why do you want to go see the movie? You've already seen Deadpool 2 before. This is just going to be the same movie with all the bad words and dick jokes cut out. I think that it's going to be different enough, and I also want to see if this is, because this is what I think they're doing. I think they're releasing this movie so they can see if they can gauge it on a younger audience. If they can get the younger audience to watch the Deadpool movie, then what they're going to be able to do is make other Deadpool things catered towards a younger audience as well and make more money off things like that. And it could lead to there being, PG-13 Deadpool movies in the future.
What percent of people do you think didn't go see the movie because it was R?
So I think there's a high percent. I think you got to take how many people are going to see all the Marvel movies right now that are under a certain age that can get away with seeing the Marvel movies because there's cute animal critters and things like that that are appealing towards Marvel. And how many of those people could also get into a rated R movie? And I think there's leaving out a significant chunk of the fan base there. Plus, with the acquisition of Fox by Disney, acquisition, yeah, of Fox by Disney, I think they're trying to tone stuff down a little bit to be on Disney's streaming services and things like that. So I think they're trying to see if it would work out.
So my take on it is, first of all, it's Deadpool. He breaks the fourth wall, and obviously that's part of the character. So they're gonna bank on that as much as possible. You've seen it with the ads. You've seen it with the DVD slipcovers for all the other Fox titles. You know, Office Space, Fight Club, literally all the other ones. I bought the Fight Club one because I wanted that skin. I'm just as stupid as Josh for buying something I already had just to get something that's Deadpool.
Wait, I don't understand.
So Deadpool, after Deadpool 2 or after Deadpool 1 was released and when Deadpool 2 was coming out, before it had come out to theaters, they released special slipcovers for like $10. They released $5 movies, like $5 bin movies for like $15 because they had specialty Deadpool slipcovers, like, you know, the cardboard covers that go around DVD cases.
Like the good, the bad, and the ugly with Deadpool
so
on it.
Deadpool, they like took imagery from the case covers and they photoshopped Deadpool into them, or
were these movies not Deadpool?
Yes, not Deadpool.
Not Deadpool
so it's
movies.
Fight Club, Office Space, like other Fox titles, like old X-Men movies, like X-Men
Days of Future
Past.
Yeah.
So they superimposed him in those, and like I said, because that's his character, he breaks that fourth wall all the time. They're going to do the cash grab stuff with that. Now, Deadpool, because it's Christmas and because Deadpool 2 just released, I don't think it's far off to say that releasing it for PG-13 is a bad idea, but the argument that we got into earlier is that it is not in my opinion, it is not a scientific experiment because Josh has already seen the movie. Josh is not under 18, so he can see it R or 13. It doesn't matter. So the statistics for the sales are going to be skewed because all the people who already saw it, not all the people, a larger portion of the people that already saw it are going to go see it, and those people were already above 18. So
like I have already seen Deadpool 2, but I'm not going to go see this one. At least not the opening week or something. I might go see it later, like second week or something down the line. But
I don't think you can. That was the reason why I was so adamant about seeing it tomorrow, is I thought the limited release is only going to have it for like one day, is what I thought it was. And I thought for tomorrow.
I have no idea.
But
it didn't interest me enough to go like look into it.
Yeah.
But so I guess what I'm saying is I do think people that are under rated R age, which I don't know, I guess it's 18 in all states, or is it just the adulthood in all states, whatever adult
because you only
is?
need to be 17 in Nebraska to see it.
Yeah.
You're not an adult in Nebraska till 19. So
whatever the rated R age is in each state. I think there's people that are going to be under that, but also you're going to get people who couldn't see it in theaters, like younger parents who have, or 30-year-old parents who have 12 or 13, 14-year-old kids who are going to go see it or take their kid to see it. So they're going to pay for a second ticket, and then their kid's going to pay for that second ticket or that first ticket that they're going to see.
Yeah.
So it's going to skew the numbers, and I don't think it's a good experiment to see if they can do a PG-13 release and an R release. I think if they initially did that and said, okay, there's a PG-13 release and an R release at the same movie theater next to each other, side by side in every market.
Yeah.
Or like I was telling
And that's
Josh,
what
East Coast, West Coast, whatever.
A simulcast would be the best way to do it for science reasons, in order to have that control. I think this, like I said, my argument is this isn't these aren't top-notch scientists doing that. They're just doing an experiment, which I said, it's science because they're doing an experiment. But the idea is, if we release this movie and it's successful, is the success due to it being a PG-13 movie, or is it success just, what we would expect from a normal re-release of Deadpool?
I think it's going to be a success only for two reasons. One, it has other content in it that wasn't in the original, so people want to see it. And two, it is partly because of this is a rebranded rated R movie, because they don't really do that. That's not a thing. If they had like a bunch of people or a bunch of other movies that had this same option, then maybe you could say like, oh, let's see the numbers from this to that. This isn't a thing. This is just one movie out of no other movies do this. So it's really hard to get the idea, because like you said, other people that are under or over 17 or over whatever the age are to see are going to see this movie.
Yeah,
so it's hard to.
And I think that's something there too. And I know there was a big thing when Deadpool came out, both 1 and 2, telling people this is a superhero movie, but it's not for kids. Don't let your kids, don't take your kids to this movie expecting them to have a good, wholesome superhero movie. Like, this is not a good movie for kids. And Deadpool makes that joke in Deadpool 2. And they made that joke for a lot of the stuff, that it's not a movie for kids. Well, now they're coming out with this PG-13 movie, and I think it's just trying to open up the audience to future PG-13 Deadpool content.
But also, back to my first point is, I think it's a cash grab.
Yeah,
it is. Like you said, you think it's going to be excess because there's saps like Josh and I who are going to buy the same thing for the second time in a row. Now, that being said, I've seen a movie in its initial theatrical run more than once. I'm not feigning, like I'm on my high horse there. I've paid for a movie twice in its initial theatrical release. To say that this is anything else than a cash grab, I think is far-fetched. I mean, I think that they're gonna make money. It may give them PG-13 sales and maybe give you the option to do a simulcast. What did you call it? Simulcast. I don't think that should be the right word. I think that's.
But if that's only works if people don't go see the movie because it's rated PG-13. In my opinion, like, you have people that are going to see a movie because it's rated R. They're going to see the movie because of the content. So regardless if it's PG-13 or PG or rated R, it's a very small group of people.
No, but wait, I guess I'm not following what you mean by that.
I'm saying that if you have a movie, if you're going to a movie because it's PG-13, whether or not it's rated R or PG-13, then that's not the reason majority of people go. They're going because they want to see the content.
Well, yeah, but part of the Deadpool content is the outlandish and very over-the-top jokes.
Yeah.
And I expect that, knowing the Deadpool character. And if they take most of that out or heavily censor it to a point, and I know that they've backtracked on it, it's going to throw it off for me. I'm not going to enjoy it as much. I don't feel like I would enjoy it as much with the lights dim.
And I'm hoping to go into this and see this movie and be like, oh my God, that was not only as good as the first time I saw Deadpool 2, but it's something that could be a standalone, Deadpool 2.5. Yeah, like it could not like a standalone movie, but it'd be something that, like, we could throw out all the rated R versions and keep the PG-13 version, and I would be equally satisfied. Like, I want that to happen.
Now,
I do and I don't.
Are Fox coming out and saying that they want to do this for PG-13, or is it just like what was the reason?
I don't think so. We keep saying cash grab. I don't necessarily think that saying cash grab is the fairest thing to say, because that would imply that, a re-release of the movie with every, joke bleeped out or like censor.
So
bars
do we know what they're doing?
Yeah, they've added new content, so there's unreleased, never before seen content to it. Is it
the same content that's on the DVD that I have?
No, there's redone scenes to make them PG-13, where they could do it. So there's some newer things coming out to the movie to offset it from just being a copy of the movie editing out certain things. So I'm really hoping that I mean, if I go into the movie and I see that it's that, then I'll 100% agree that, oh my God, this was a stupid cash grab. Like any time when a movie's like, hey, we added, like the George Lucas re-releases of the Star Wars movies just to get, 5 minutes of extra bonus footage. Or, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but when we paid for the Last Jedi tickets, $40 more.
So this is a article from The Ringer, and it says, "What is it? Why a PG-13 Deadpool?" And to quote the man himself, "It's a family movie, also money, also Disney. But seriously, why is Fox doing this?" And they talk about it's just a moneymaker.
Yeah. Well, and because, I mean, like if you ostracize a big part of your audience by making it R and not PG-13, and you can't have all those people show up to the movie the first time you release it, then yeah, you're losing money. So
I still think that number is so insignificant.
I think if you look at sales for like the Avengers versus sales for Deadpool, that number
I think
makes
it's
a big difference.
I think it's different.
I think it's different. The Avengers are a 10-year movie phenomenon. Deadpool is falling at the ass end of the X-Men hype. And now, granted, we've been wanting the Deadpool movie for, I don't know,
10 years.
10 years, but
since the video game, probably.
Well, since Ryan Reynolds turned out to be a fucking mouth melded piece of shit.
Yeah.
In Origins.
But can you look up the lowest grossing Marvel movie right now?
Yeah.
I want Thor Underworld, but I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think Thor Underworld's got like
I don't think it's Thor Underworld.
Dark
World, yeah. Thor Underworld. I think it was
because Deadpool 2 is better than Iron Man, Thor Ragnarok, Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you looking for specifically?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to see the lowest Marvel movie, which, I mean,
it doesn't matter because
you've already shown that Deadpool. You said Deadpool 2 is higher than Iron Man.
So, is there who owns BV?
Who owns what?
I'm looking at like the things for it, and you have Ant-Man, which is in the group of BV Buena Vista, which is the people who own all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man is the lowest with 180 million. And then you have Paramount Pictures and Sony, and they have a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
So Venom's underneath that, X-Men 2's underneath that, Big Hero 6, Logan.
That's a really good thing. So if Venom were to have an R rating, do we think it would have made more of a difference in the sales? Like, would it have been a better movie to make Venom R-rated?
Well,
and then got more sales out of it?
No, I wasn't interested in the show, so I didn't go see it.
The Venom character is not an R-rated character. Like the character that Venom is not somebody who says fuck, dick, pussy, and ass. Like
no, but he eats people, which is like rated R. Like you can't behead somebody.
I guess. But I mean, no, it's just the character, in my opinion.
It's
I mean,
Spider-Man Homecoming.
They censor nipples, but you can shoot people on TV.
That did better than Deadpool 2, and that's, I mean, that's right there is one that's very PG or very PG-13, very little swearing, very little anything else, and that did 200 million or 20 million better than Deadpool 2.
Yeah. I think, honestly, there is going to be, if this movie is successful, it's going to show that you can make a PG-13 Deadpool movie and people will still go see it. And then that way they won't have to release an R movie next time.
But the thing about this release is they are not going because it's PG-13. They're going because the extra shit that's in it.
Exactly.
You're to see the extra stuff not because it's PG-13. If it was the same movie that they're about to show with the dick and fart jokes, then I think that it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, if it could be a good movie with,
I mean, there's no doubt that it's going to be a good movie because the movie we saw is a good movie, and they're only going to change it in a minor fashion.
Exactly, and that's all I'm saying. Like, if they could have if they could have done Deadpool originally PG-13 and opened it up to a bigger audience, then it would have made more money.
Why do you think the PG-13 market is so big?
The PG-13 market is bigger than the rated R market.
I would say, I don't think so. You have everybody that's 17 and older, and then 17 and younger, and people that can't buy tickets. Let's say 13 to 17 is the only market you have that didn't buy it, and I'm sure some of them did see it.
I think as far as the MPAA ratings on movies go, that once you put a rated R label on the movie, you are like, there are people who won't take kids to it. For instance, they won't allow you to go to it. So perfect example
I don't think Deadpool is a character you should take kids to anyway.
But there was Deadpool on Cartoon Network. I mean, and it was PG-13 and it was done just fine.
I don't know.
Because that's the Will Fridley Deadpool, and it's fantastic.
I honestly don't think it's a difference.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think that is not a money grab. I mean, it's a money grab because
he literally just said it was a money grab.
Because every business wants to make money. I mean, if UNICEF got into the movie making industry, maybe we could talk. But I mean,
the world.
I know.
Okay, but let's get off this. We were already talking about this for 1 minute.
We will talk about this next year.
But I want to hear the highlights of 2018, and then I also want to talk about the what of our not the Sex Nerd Science plans, but your individual plans for 2019, like your New Year's whatever.
You want Sexy Nerd Science highlights of 2018?
Yeah.
Highlights of 2018 for Sexy Nerd Science, personal projections for 19.
Okay.
Wait, what now?
Nothing. We're just recapping.
You want
yeah.
Okay. So I think and these are in no particular order or in like I don't want to rank these things at all.
Why don't we just go from the most recent thing to the first thing?
Because I honestly don't think I can think back enough for that. Being at 10 for 13 on Sexy Nerd Science or on Sciencey questions, that was a pretty big win for me.
That's not Sexy Nerd Science. It's Josh. That's personal.
That's this podcast.
I would say that counts.
And so I will say this. So my biggest thing right now, one of the things I think is we did a lot this year. It started in late 2017 with the Kansas City Comic-Con. And then went 2018, we did so many new things with the podcast, getting it on Project Nerd more, branching out, doing the videos, doing live streams these last couple weeks. The things we're doing with the podcast have become just more and more all the time. And I think that that's one of my biggest things that I think we did as a podcast this year was really just the amount of growth we did. Year over year. Like, it might not be new page likes or anything else like that, but our SoundCloud,
we're definitely starting that.
Yeah.
At the end of the year.
Yes.
Sure.
But our SoundCloud listens, have gone up into the hundreds per episodes now, which is just insane for me to think about. So like how we did as a podcast, I think is one of the things that we had for growth. And then all the added benefits with that, that comes as a caveat, I guess, and we can talk about those individually, but just where we've grown from a podcast, just I was gonna say
we started 18 outright with starting season 4. So I thought that was pretty cool that we kept doing it. So we'll see how season 5 turns out. And then we did Planet Comic-Con this year.
Yep.
And then we did
OCC that I wasn't at.
So yeah, we did February. So just kind of going through February, I think was Planet last year.
Mm-hmm.
this year in 2018. It's February. I don't know what we did immediately after that. I can't remember what the next convention was.
You went immediately to Michigan. You guys did Michigan or whatever, right? Michigan Con. That's like
that was in May.
It was in March, I thought.
I think it was in March
because it was like
we did Motor City Con.
Motor City.
Yeah.
So it was weekend con. So it was like you had a weekend break.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then you went to Michigan in like May, right?
Yeah, with Dale.
Yeah.
We also did. So we had the auto show was in February. That's what it was.
That's in January, isn't it?
January. So we did auto show first.
How many times did you go to Michigan?
Oh my God,
a lot.
I don't pay for the gas, so I don't know.
A lot. He came to Michigan like 4 times last year.
And each time I had a new sleeping arrangement, it seems.
I was like, you came for the auto show. You came for Motor City Con. You came for my birthday thing.
And that was Michigan as well, right?
Oh, yeah, I think it was. And then
brought me back those sweet Batman posters.
And then you came for something else just recently.
My birthday.
Daniel's wedding.
Yeah,
and then like a month before that too, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was my birthday the month before that when I came down. I mean, it was
like 5 times.
A lot where we came to Michigan, but still. By the way, Holly, replying to your comment here, we do usually broadcast on YouTube. We don't have a Spotify account. We have SoundCloud and Tuned In, Podcast Addict. Twitch, I think we also stream on as well.
Dale and I stream on Twitch. If we game together, typically we try and have that stream to Twitch or to our personal ones, and then we just share them on there.
And this podcast is usually simultaneous. So simulcast is the word that I use because that's what it is like in anime when you get the English and the Japanese, the sub and the dub come out at the same time. That's usually what it's a simulcast. So this is basically our podcast comes out on all those things at the same time usually, but we have some issues with our streaming partner right now. So we're only able to do Facebook right now since we get the most engagement from Facebook.
But we also do have stuff on YouTube. We do stream on YouTube. We stream on Twitch. We post all our podcasts on SoundCloud, which is also on iTunes, on Podcast Addict, on everything. You'll hear a big spiel at the end when we talk about stuff. But we're pretty much anywhere we have it. So just, Google SexyNerdScience or SNS Podcast, and we're there.
Holly, you could add DJUBUTI to your auto host list on Twitch, and then that'd be pretty cool because that's my personal channel.
Yeah. You can donate at DaleRogers.com. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Donate to a.drew at paypal.me.
Yeah.
No, but so yeah,
because we did the audit. We did a lot of cons.
We did a lot of stuff.
We were in Colorado.
Other things we did is we did Colorado Springs Comic-Con, and we helped out a ton with that. And then the last thing we did was the film festival. And
I didn't go to that.
Yeah. But the film festival was great. It was the kind of a good last hurrah for Sexy Nerd Science. And then obviously being hooked up with Project Nerd for the last 3.5 years, basically, because we started halfway through our
what are you guys pausing for?
Sorry,
I was just
reading.
As people keep comment, like it shows, and then like it types, and then it goes up there. So we're like waiting.
How about don't wait?
Sorry,
it's a suspenseful.
It's the internet, yeah.
So yeah, it's great stuff being part of Project Nerd, being on the Project Nerd Network, the
Project
Patreon
Nerd Podcast Network,
the PNPN, the Project Nerd Podcast Network.
We need to copyright one of those.
Yeah. I'm sending it to Iggy right now and telling him that he owes us
PN
money.
squared.
So for mine, I completely agree with everything you guys have said. All the different cons we went to, but honestly, when we went to Colorado Springs Comic-Con and we did live stream, we interviewed so many different people. We have so many videos from that on Project Nerd's page. I loved it. I love doing all of it, and I'm excited for 2019 because I've been working with Iggy and working with Jeff, Geoff, and we just have so many things like excited for 2019, and so I'm kind of excited with that. But with with this year. I mean, I missed out on a few things because of personal, family things I had to do when you guys were at other conventions. So I didn't get to do everything with you guys, unfortunately.
But also, you're also in Michigan, so we don't hold it against you.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder for me to come out there, but I love coming out to Omaha. It's one of my favorite places to come out to. So,
and Josh doesn't pay for gas, so if you ever want him to come up to Michigan,
yeah, come pick me up, Josh.
I will gladly do that for a small fee, because buying tires once a year is probably my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Every 11 to 12 months buying tires sucks.
Yeah. No, I don't mind paying for gas to get out there. I mean, like, to go to Denver, that was killer. But to go to Omaha, it wasn't that bad.
No.
Do a 10-hour drive, I can do that.
Well, and
we're
that was
never gonna do
the
the
thing is now with the truck and everything, it's almost like that. As long as you get to us, we can get to anywhere that's out here. So it also shortened your drive a little bit too, because then you're only driving halfway, and then Josh and I can switch off.
And there's officially a supercharger open in St. Joseph, Missouri. So I can now make it to Kansas City very easy, even on a cold day.
Cool.
Yes. So it makes things a lot easier getting to and from Kansas City now in the Tesla as well, instead of having to do like really stretching it with a carload of people. So now I can, I think it's going to be nice that I can take my car, Drew could take his car, and we'll be able to bring a lot more stuff to Kansas City when we go, which we are for sure going. More info to come on that next year. But we got our Airbnb all hooked up.
Nice. So, I mean, what's the number one sexiest thing that happened in 2018? Was it
interviewing Stephen Kapasik?
That was a big one for you.
That was my first
or
panel
Peter Dante
interview. Peter Dante was fantastic, and the fact that I have not gotten an email back from him, but he has read it.
Episode 18, guys, go back. Josh interviewed Stephen Kapasik at Kansas City Comic-Con, and it was very entertaining.
Check out
entertaining. Yeah.
Check out the Project Nerd YouTube. That's where the Peter Dante video is. I think it's also on our Facebook page. But
yeah, Peter Dante was fantastic. I wish we could have gotten more people from Colorado Springs Comic-Con. I don't want to be the guy to be like, hey, listen to us, content creators and con goers, but like, seriously, the more stuff we get from conventions, like the more leeway they give us, the more promotional stuff we do for everyone else. Stefan Kapasik was the voice actor and for Colossus in the Deadpool movies. So he has a really thick Russian accent. So it's like Stephen, and his last name's Kapasik, which took me forever to learn. And if you go back and watch our interview that we did with him, or when I introduced him into a crowd full of people, I could not pronounce his last name, and he took it with stride. I recovered very well from it, I think. But it was one of those things where it was a awesome interview. And just panel that we did in general. There was a bunch of really good questions, and I got some really good interactions with, a celebrity. But again, like, just to continue what I was saying.
On the video right now, we have a picture of Stephen Kapasik on the right, and then his Colossus image on the left.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's who that is.
Nice. And he's way prettier than that in person.
Yeah, he's also in Better Call Saul. Which is something I started watching a couple episodes of. I never watched Breaking Bad, so it's kind of...
Watch Breaking Bad? I thought it would get better than it did.
Yeah, I watched 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. In the very beginning episode, I was just like, meh.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was good, but it just got good. It didn't get great.
I was to say it. So, like, by the last season and a half, this last 2 seasons or season and a half, I was kind of like, okay, where is this going to end? Like, how are they going to wrap this up? But then once they did that, it was, I didn't think Better Call Saul needed a spot on TV, but Also, Stephen Kapasik definitely got himself some chops on that show, I suppose. So,
but I do think, yeah, like I said, like, so when the cons are able to help us more, we're able to return that in kind to them so much more. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where the more pull we have with the convention and the things like that, the more we're able to give back, the more value we can provide. So maybe it's just because, I'm in this business mindset 24/7 all the time, but I'm constantly thinking of, return on investment, return on investment. How can we help those who helped us? How can we show our worth? And when we do get some things for free, it definitely helps us with the conventions and stuff like that. I mean, it started with Kansas City, and it paid off in huge dividends with Colorado Springs. And I think going to other conventions, it's going to help as well. So,
Drew, anything for you?
What I was gonna say is, I mean, the Peter Dante thing was pretty cool, but I definitely think overall, Colorado Springs was the sexiest thing. I definitely think not that we weren't in like a good spot with Project Nerd, because we've always been in good standing with them, but we definitely brought a lot to the table that weekend, and it showed, and I think it helped Project Nerd and Altered Reality, not necessarily just us, but the whole weekend helped Project Nerd and Altered Reality build a better relationship, hopefully, which will springboard us into a really great 2019 year.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So that's definitely my sexiest thing. That the sexiest thing of 2019 was Colorado Springs.
Yeah. And I need to also, I think one of the best feelings I had was at Comic-Con this year too, where
Definitely.
it really felt like we were the big dogs in the show. Having the podcast area set up for all the podcasters, and then Sexy Nerd Science having this big old space for us and Project Nerd together. It really, I mean, I don't mean to strong arm any of the other podcasts that were at Sexy Nerd Science, but it kind of made us look like the big dogs. And, if you go by purely how many people subscribe to our podcasts, we were definitely not the big dogs there. But just the space we had, the way everything was set up, I think that helped project confidence. And then that confidence paid off again. So we got a ton of nice things from Comic-Con that then we turned around and used to make Colorado Springs what it was. So
real quick, Holly, thank you for auto hosting us for our Sex Nerd Science page, and also Miss Bobby Brown. Drew, is your wife's maternity pics not sexy?
No, they are. But
so that was just a little joke on Drew.
I don't know if they did. I don't think she did that in 2019 or 2018. I mean, did she? Yeah, I think so. I mean, personally, that's the sexiest.
That's what we're talking about, personally.
Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's podcast related.
So, yeah, definitely that's podcast related. So I would have to agree with you guys with Kansas City Comic-Con. Like I said already, we had a big stride there. I heard Comic-Con was great. I unfortunately wasn't able to go. But I think
right, and then
what?
Kansas City Comic-Con was November of last year, technically.
It seems so far away.
Kansas City was no,
but Planet
was this year.
Yeah,
it was this year in February, and we went to that. So that was we were going to get a sponsored booth and never did. So, and that wasn't Planet Comic-Con's issue. That was our issue.
Yeah.
But where are we at?
So I just wanted to touch base on what you're looking for 2019, and that's personally, not for Sex Nerd Science. And the reason I say not for Sex Nerd Science or for Project Nerd is because with a lot of stuff, we want to make sure we can do it before we say what we're going to do.
Well, we
Exactly.
know we typically do the 2019 projection on our first episode anyway. That's kind of always what we.
Well, yeah.
The projection. So Dale, why don't you go first this time?
What I'm looking for personally,
Yeah.
I enjoy my job right now, but I would like something that's a little bit more challenging. So I'm looking for, if I don't move within my department, possibly move with another spot within Ford. I talked about that a little bit early in this year. I had some stuff open up and whatnot, but ultimately I didn't go anywhere, which was, it is what it is. But that's my professional career. At home, my dog's finally being able to stay out without tearing stuff up every 5 minutes, even though the house looks trashed half the time just because of, he's tearing out fluff or something, in toys he's supposed to. But I'm glad he's doing good. So I'm looking forward to him becoming a more rounded dog, if that's a thing.
He gets out of his puppy phase.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, this is going to sound weird, spend more time with my family, and not just like with Amanda, but my grandma, because my grandpa's passing this year in July. So that was a big hit for our family. And so I want to make sure that I spend time with my aunts and my grandma. So I think that's for 2019. That's going to be a challenge for me. It seems like I'm always have time to do this or to do, something fun, but it's hard for me to get out there and do something.
And not to get too personal in your family life, but like it's really just you and your dad as far as the big men in the family is concerned. I mean that at least all the family reunions I ever go to, it's you and your dad. And I mean,
well,
your dad's got a lot of stuff going
AJ
on.
has definitely stepped up a lot in the past year, I would say, honestly, and not just with my grandpa, but he got a job. I think in late 2017, early 2018. He's been doing D&D with us. He's really grown as a person, in my opinion. And then obviously with my grandpa, he's had to step up within his own family, and then obviously the extended family. And I'm really proud of him. And so yeah.
Dale takes care of his family a lot, and I get to see it on his end sometimes from the outside looking in. And it's always good to see Dale taking care of his family. So
thanks, Josh. You're part of my family too. Drew's not.
I sleep in your garage. I know.
So, Josh, what about you? What are you looking forward to in 2019?
Kind of along the same lines there. I've been really kind of looking at maybe going into some sort of consulting work, whether it's like business consulting or energy consulting. A lot of it's still going to require me to actually graduate, which it's one of those things where finding time to balance work and school is just not happening. And
it's because you got a $1,000 car payment.
Well, it's not even that. Like, I mean, if I have to take,
but no gas costs.
I'll have to, even if I didn't have my car, it's one of those things where like my responsibilities for work are never ending, even on my days off. So I don't really have time off to do any school stuff. But if I was going to do something
40
different,
hours of Pokemon Go.
I was sick.
3 days.
Not 40 hours, but I played 40 hours of Smash Bros. But that's because I was sick and I stayed up way earlier than I should have. But it's one of those things where I would really kind of want to look for stuff like that. I've been honestly, so my LinkedIn profile, I've been very active on LinkedIn ever since I started this job. I've been talking with I have a person who works for Tesla in Chicago that I talk to a lot about Tesla things. Whenever I see a job posting for Tesla that I really want to apply for, I always ask him first if he has any ins or help along those lines. So he's an awesome person to talk to. But I've also been looking at other places, like I said, like green companies, energy consulting, things like that. I basically open up my searches to Omaha, Denver, Colorado, or Michigan. So unfortunately for Dale, my whole goal has always been to like just move back to Michigan, like make enough money here so I can transfer my job and move back to Michigan. And I'm still looking, but it's looking like there are a lot more jobs in like the Denver, Littleton,
definitely
of areas like that. And I really wouldn't mind moving to Colorado from the 3 times I've been there now, it is always a good time. And now that I've got a lot of friends out there too, it's one of those things where I could see moving out to Colorado not being such a terrible thing.
I think it's the type of position you're looking for too, because here in Michigan we have a lot of engineering jobs and a lot of, I don't want to say we don't have a lot of technical jobs. So it's kind of what you're looking for too. It's not really out here that much.
I just want to tell people what they're doing is wrong and give them the right solution. Like, is that so hard to ask for a job? I don't.
Yes.
I don't understand why people just like. And I don't mean
because a lot of people are gonna see that as just your opinion, man.
I know, but the worst thing is like I can't strive to tell people like when I was just a kitchen cook in the back of Carlos O'Kelly's telling servers how easy they had it serving. And I was like, seriously, if I did your job, I would be so good at it.
We heard this story
hard.
2 weeks ago.
And then I did it and it worked. And then when people are like, oh, if you were a boss, you wouldn't know that. So then I became a boss and I'm like, hey, this really isn't that hard to be a successful boss. Like, and then I say things to my company, Spring Mobile, and I say, hey, we need to do this as a company because if we don't do it, it's not going to work out for like we're doing business wrong. And then I leave the company and 6 months after that, they get bought by another company and sold. And GameStop sells all their relations with Spring Mobile now, which was kind of some interesting news. But it was one of those things where I keep doing these things in business and I was like, hey, this is the right idea for the business. This is what should happen. And no one listens to me because I don't have Josh Gebbe PhD behind my name. Like, and even then, I don't think people would still listen because there's plenty of really smart people out there that are like, hey, let's not do this whole climate change thing anymore. And they're like, climate change. And then they keep burning coal. So,
Drew, what's your personal goals for 2019?
My personal goals are, I've got a bunch. I got a bunch of personal goals.
Good.
Setting the bar high. So that way, as long as I hit it, I'm okay.
Third kid?
No, not third kid. We actually talked about it. We batted it around. It's not necessarily a done deal, but we're okay right now.
Josh, Drew, I can't stop laughing. Stop.
So it hurts when Dale laughs.
The first one is a kind of a secret, but it's kind of a business venture that I'm keeping close to the vest till I get everything off the ground. So if you guys, I think you guys know about it for the most part. But ask me about it later if you don't.
Ask me about my wiener.
And overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. You are not wrong, Miss Gage.
I'm still alive.
For now. You are drinking a regular Dr. Pepper.
I know. I wish it was diet.
Come to the dark side. So
that little business venture is potentially something I want to. That business venture is something I want to do closer to the front of the year. Obviously, my regular work, I want to hopefully make a lot of money there, or at least close to what I was kind of given a ballpark number around, because that'd be make me pretty happy, and also help with the first goal is that second business venture, because I can pour money into that. And then I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last week or the week before. I'm going to be releasing a Real Play D&D podcast, the unnamed D&D podcast currently. It may be unnamed forever, but that'll be probably the first part of the year, first month or two. Hopefully I can do at least, 24 episodes of that, because we'll do 2 episodes per session and then go from there. What else? Spend some time with family is a good one. I want to try and stay off my phone as much as possible. during family times, obviously, with doing things like having a job that I make my own schedule or loosely make my own schedule, and then I, you know, it's a very high demand job for the most part, just because I'm got to take it where it comes.
So I'm going to add one more thing into this for 2019. This is not a New Year's resolution or anything. This is what would you like to learn? Kind of going on the sciencey aspect of it. I'm going to start with me first. Something that I want to learn is a new programming language. So my goal for my strive this year is to learn a new programming language.
I wasn't done talking, but that's okay.
I thought you were done talking. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Too bad you didn't want to learn patience, Dale.
That's my next thing. Learn patience.
2020.
2020. We'll do it. So the D&D podcast will come out then, and then like I said, I was on to family already. Spend time with my family. Spend a lot less time on my phone with work and everything. Damn it, Dale, you threw me off.
I was like, it sounds like you were done to me.
No.
He said he had a lot.
So then the next bit is do a lot for, like, I want to do, like, take like a day out of the month and do some sort of give back thing. As a just a personal goal. I want to, like, you know, go pick up, I mean, I don't want to do it with my kid, pick up trash on the side of the road, but like go package lunches at a food place or something. Like,
I mean, you could clean up a park with your kids.
Definitely. I mean, that's definitely something you could do, but like, I was just like, I want to do it as a family kind of moral building exercise. Get the kids some good morals. And
my university does clean up the river by my house.
Yeah.
So you could do that too. I mean, that just give me options.
Oh, Josh could drive us.
Yeah. Family.
New tires, just all you got to pay for.
In rewards that I need to use. Too.
Nice.
That's not a very good hotel.
So yeah, I know. Trust me. No, and then, I mean, that's definitely something I want to do, like, kind of on a month-to-month basis. And then as far as the podcast is concerned, I want to be more proactive personally with the podcast. And, like, I mean, I'm sure that's probably a goal we all try to set, but with everything that goes on in life. So, but yeah, now I'm done talking.
Drew, what's the thing that you possibly want to learn?
So the thing I possibly want to learn is I want to learn. Well, I've been doing it a lot, but I want to learn a little bit about, like, coding and computers, like, kind of like what you were saying, because I just built the two. I built the one and I beefed up the other, and getting into, like, the BIOS and stuff for the one to try and download or to upgrade or, like, boot up Windows 10 from a USB drive and junk like that, has been kicking my ass. So just because I'm not familiar with, like, BIOS menus or anything like that. So, but that's just, that was kind of piggybacking off yours. I do want to learn, basically how to, like, legitimately how to run my own business to the point where I don't need a tax person, besides the fact that they, like, or maybe like I would need an accountant to just do this shit for me, so I don't have to. But, like, to know what I can and can't write off, and you know, like, what my caps are for specific like, travel days and business write-offs for, like, food per day and mileage and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is probably just Googleable per state by state. But
yeah. So real quick, not trying to cut you off, but a few comments we had. Holly said D and Drugens, or Drugens and Dragons. And then says, you're a science guy, find a youth center and do a once a month enrichment club. So pretty cool. Drew, Uncle Josh is a computer programmer, says Mrs. Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I know he is.
We are not sponsored by anybody, at least for this episode. But there's a lot of cool like websites nowadays. Skillshare, Brilliant, I think are two ones that I would like to use. What?
Nothing. I just saw the
you said blind science question, you dummy.
What?
You said the blind science question in the group text.
Yeah, but you responded to it.
Yeah.
I know, because he thought it was a personal text.
Oh.
Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
All right, well, I gotta
pick another one now.
We can never do that because Josh will read up on it tonight and do it for the rest of his life.
Sorry, Drew.
I mean, I can answer that question tonight.
Nope. Gone.
Okay. So is it okay if I go now, or are you done with your stuff since
little baby? I mean,
I think Josh was going. I don't remember. What were we talking about?
We were doing your...
What do you want to learn?
We were reading comments. Dale.
Oh, yeah.
Finish yours, Dale, since you interrupted me.
No, I just wanted to, that was just the comments I wanted to catch up before we got too far ahead.
Finish learning. So you were going to do a new computer language? Just that simple, easy.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I want to learn something more, a little bit more, possibly Python, possibly C#. I don't know. I'm gonna pick one of them and just go at it, see what I do.
I think Python's probably going to be the easiest from what I
think Python's going to be the easiest, but I think C# will be more what I want.
I think, application-wise, Python not as broad.
Python's a little slower. Or I don't know MATLAB that well.
That would be cool.
I could use that too, because the board uses it a lot.
Yeah, that used to be the thing that for my physics degree we used to have to learn, and then they changed it to Python.
Yeah.
Then it got all confusing, and I never had to take it.
Yeah.
By 2019's end, I would really like to finish school. I mean, the fact that I'm just a couple papers and a couple writing assignments away is something that I would really like to do. I know this sounds really weird, but I had a really good friend in philosophy that was she was kind of like my pace for, she was on pace to do these and I was going to do it with her and kind of be like, hey, this is going to help me out. And now that she's back in town, I might be able to kind of do those things a little more, at least like have some discussions, like maybe even if she would be willing to like hang out and like do philosophy talks, because I do have a bunch of papers I got to write in philosophy. Once I write those papers, then my philosophy degree is done. And then once my philosophy degree is done, I can literally just focus on senior project for physics, which is probably going to be papers there as well, because I'm not going to be able to do any experiments or anything. I think that'll be a good goal, is to get that done, because I would really like to have my degrees, instead of just saying I have them and not actually having the physical pieces of paper. I have the education for my degrees. I just don't have the actual documents saying I have them, which is probably the biggest bummer. And especially when it comes to applying for jobs, all these places are like, must have bachelor's degree. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I do kind of. And I know if I applied and I was like, hey, I'll have my bachelor's degree completed by this time, I can still get the job. And usually things will work out pretty well for that, especially if I go to a place like Colorado where all my stuff would transfer over. It's definitely one of those things where I think that's kind of my big thing for 2019. I'd like to finish schooling, get my degrees. It's looking like it's probably going to be more so 2020, honestly. But yeah,
that's cool.
And
so, do you guys have anything you want to touch base on?
Well, I was gonna say, as a podcast, I know there's a lot of things that we're gonna be doing for 2020 that I'm just really excited to share with
2020 or
everybody.
2019?
2019, sorry. That I'm really excited to share with everybody when we can, because we've had a
definitely
bunch of really good ideas.
Definitely something that we've already done, so it's not like a surprise, and it's not something that we can't do. Is like more events. I know we've stressed that probably the last 2 years, but at least like once a quarter even. I know we kind of set the bar really, really, really high with once a month for movies, but we don't. I mean, I guess Josh goes most of the time, but doing like a thing once a quarter would be phenomenal. I would love to have that go on. So I mean that's a goal, but I know that's kind of more so episode 1, but maybe we'll hash that out over the next couple weeks and then give you a specific thing that we'll do.
Yeah, I think that will be really fun as a podcast. That I know there's a potential where we might be so busy in 2019 with Project Nerd that we won't have the ability in per quarter basis to do events. And I would really like that.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes, I would really like to start seeing some sort of return on investment from the time we put into this podcast, more so than what we have right now. I think, this is fully transparent. We argue all the time about when we're going to do recording sessions and things like that. And the reason why we're so inconsistent is none of us could afford to lose our job to do this podcast, And so there's always things that are going to take priority over doing the podcast. And I would really like to have the ability to be like, this podcast can get me by, self-sustaining. And I know that's not going to happen anytime soon, but it's one of those things where to be able to be like, I don't have to worry about spending an extra X amount of dollars to do this on the podcast or waste time doing this.
We started at the high point of podcasts. There's a couple groups that are not they were not full. And I mention them all the time. The McElroy brothers from the podcast that I listen to, they've been doing it for 8 years and they only quit their jobs on year 6. So, I mean, we're not off course. I don't want to say we haven't got there yet. Or I'm not sorry. I don't want to say that it's impossible. We haven't got there yet. I just don't know how close to their track record we are at this point in time. I can't compare us at year 5 to them at year 5 because I don't know I don't have their analytics. Yeah. But at year 6, I think a couple of them at least were stopping doing other work.
And Holly articulated it the best too. You'd like to be successful enough in your personal projects that they would be self-sustaining or even profitable. So at my personal life, I would like it to be that way. I think it would take a lot of stress off all of us. But it's not to say that I don't enjoy doing this all the time and all the fun stuff we get to do together as a group. Yesterday we had a lot of really good things happening and I was just going crazy. I stayed up even later than I should, just kind of watching stuff happen. We shared a post and it's got the most shares I've ever seen from one of our posts. And I was really excited about all that. So Dale's opening up another Coke for you guys listening in the audience.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely think we've got a lot of good goals and everything.
I think so too. I think 2019 is going to be better than 2018, which is all I really want to ask.
I mean, at least for SexyNerdScience. I don't know about for the rest of the world.
I mean, I want every year to continue being the new best year. I don't want to look back and be like, oh, remember when Nicole did something like that. I want every year to keep topping the year before as far as how good things have been.
So do you guys want to do blind science right now?
Do we want to do memoriam section too? Because I just was now thinking, I know I got really negative there for a second, but I feel like 2016, 2017, there was just a ton of death. And like 2018, I don't feel like there was a ton of death.
I mean,
But I feel like Stanley, I mean, obviously that's the most recent one that I think we talked about. But
so. I mean, we've talked about George H.W. Bush. We talked about him. We talked about Stanley. We talked about who else passed away this year. I'm trying to think of it like in reverse order.
In January, I'm just going to read some big people. Jerry Van Dyke.
Yeah, I think we talked about him.
Yep. In February, John Malhouni. In March, we had Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. That was a big one.
Yep. Frank Village, which is Bozo the Clown. My dad met him. On April, we had Harry Anderson. Oh, I didn't know he died. Barbara Bush, Arlie Emery, the guy who does Mail Call and all the Army voices you would know.
Yeah.
And then the actor who played Mini-Me. These are just the headlines.
Yeah.
In May, Clint Walker, but I really don't know the other guys. In June, Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, yeah, Anthony Bourdain.
That was a big one too.
Oh wow!
And this is so I'm glad that we're kind of doing in memoriam because some of these like were big, but I kind of forgot about them.
Yeah.
It's not like not necessarily forget about them because
No,
I see Anthony Bourdain every day on the Netflix. And
I don't
I'm
want to. I don't want to make it sound like we forgot about the person themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Forgetting about their death, I think, is
that's.
In July, Roger Perry, Robert Waters. August, we had John McCain and Aretha Franklin.
Yeah,
those were two big ones we talked about.
In September, we had Burt Reynolds.
Reynolds, yeah.
October, we had Scott Wilson. He was an actor who played in Herschel Green on the TV show The Walking Dead. November, we had Stan Lee and President George H.W. Bush. And in December, so far, we have Kenny Berry, who starred in the Andy Griffin Show.
Yeah, and if 2016, if 2017 or 2018 is anything like 2016, they're gonna unfortunately probably stack up. Stack up is the wrong word to say. They're gonna probably start or keep going right up until the end of the year. I think in 2018 we had, or 2016 we had a death like on the 31st of the year.
I'm looking at 2016.
Yeah.
Damn, there was a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
2016 and 2017 were both a lot. Like
David Bowie, Alan Rickman. This is for 16, by the way.
Yeah.
There was somebody
Reagan.
who you'll get there, I'm sure, but who passed away like right at the end of the year on December.
In December of 2016?
Yeah.
John Glenn. Right at the end of the year, Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher,
that's what it was. Right. Like she passed away like, I don't know, it was like the 27th, yeah.
December.
Yeah, it was, I mean.
Well, I'm glad we're looking at these people because it's like the amount of people that I'm seeing, I'm like, no way. I just saw them in a show.
It's so weird to think for that feeling to happen too.
Yeah. And I don't like. I hate that this is kind of like we're talking about this, but again, like this is kind of an in memoriam thing. At the end of the year, I always like to look back at the people we've lost over the year, and even going back even to years previous because we never have done anything like this before. I think last year we did the 12 podcasts to giving or whatever, I think is what we did last year, which was really a good idea as well. Holy crap, it's been a year since we talked to Night Mage.
Mage, get on this.
Somebody for real. It's been, I think we didn't have Night Mage on this entire season.
Send him a personal message, Dale, in the Zoom. Tell him we have to have him on.
Right now?
Yes, literally right now.
It is literally 11:19 right there, like in his time.
He's okay.
He's in Chicago, right?
I think Ohio, Indiana.
Ohio.
I'm
going to send him a message in And
Facebook
Zoom?
Messenger.
Oh, Facebook Messenger.
My
I thought you said Zoom.
Michael Wilson.
We're gonna do this live on our.
Ohio. Thank you, Holly. I love that Holly knows everybody that we know too.
send it to a personal too.
Yeah, I'm just doing personal.
He wasn't at Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. He wasn't at any conventions we did this year. Thanks, Holly. Holly's in our personal lives to keep us on track too. She's at all our Project Nerd events and stuff like that.
That's true.
If I remember right, technically Holly's our intern, right? Aren't you interning for college credit?
Yeah. See how far that gets.
The PN intern. Or it's actually just P intern. Get it? That was a fun joke.
P intern.
Project intern. Oh my God. We need to make that a thing. Iggy, get on it. I'm wearing my Project Nerd
What
stuff.
up, girl? Come over here.
We're doing a year in memorandum here.
I'm not friends with Michael on Facebook.
What? Oh, it's because you deleted people when they annoy you, and apparently Michael must have annoyed you.
Oh, he reaches 5,000.
Apparently.
So he deleted you?
No, I don't know. Maybe he could have.
Do you guys like Michael Wilson, Night Mage?
I don't think he was ever
I have him as my not to be.
my friend.
Well, hopefully we can get him on here real quick. I think he's going to join us.
Did you send him a message?
Yeah, he said sure. I don't know if he's loading it up right now or what.
Oh, yes. I'm in.
We spent the whole year doing podcasts. Never talked to Michael yet.
Yeah.
So
Like he's always number one or number two, like right away in our Sex Nerds of the Month, which we haven't done in forever.
yeah.
So
I apologize to anyone seeing this live stream or the actual video that's going to come up. We might have some issues with
Dale, just mute all audio when you
our spacing.
You think he's getting in.
I'll adjust on the fly.
Okay.
Yeah, Dale can move everything.
I just
around
didn't
too,
want
but-
that big doorbell sound to be like bing bong.
dong. I think I turned that off.
We
you?
can't.
We can't.
Oh, you can't. Oh, that's right. Ding dong.
But you do it 6 more times and it's not going to matter.
Now we can just whatever. So, real quick, what else can we touch base on real quick before if he gets on?
So did we want to do blind science question here real quick?
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Night Mage? I'm sure I can answer this in like 2 seconds. Come on, 11 for 13.
I'm confident with this one for you.
I'm just going to have him on.
So, Drew, you want to ask the question? What?
I got a cookie in my mouth.
You have a cookie in your mouth?
Yeah.
So I'll ask the question then. Josh.
Alloys are formed from...
Shut up. Tell me all about electron shells.
Like valence shells?
Yes.
Oh, fuck you.
No one uses the word valent, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm looking in here, I'm like, these are valent shells. What's the difference? What's the difference? And I couldn't find the name anywhere.
What?
Oh, snap.
Oh,
He's in.
Night Mage.
Okay, real quick. Tell me about it.
I'll wait.
Back into
Night Mage, how's it going?
No,
We can't hear you.
he's muted.
Are you like, do you enable audio?
Hey,
There
Yeah,
you go.
Hey!
how are you guys?
Doing good. We actually haven't talked to you all year, and we just wanted to say, happy holidays to you, and we're seeing how you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you. Happy holidays to you guys. I'm doing well. You caught me at the gym.
Oh,
Oh.
good.
Work on that fitness so you can get some more burgers.
Yeah, well, that's why I work out so I can eat. That's the only reason I work out.
Man of my own heart.
That's the best thing. So typically we run into you at least at one convention, but we just miss each other every convention this year, and so we haven't got to catch up with you as often. As
That sucks. Well, what's your plans for 2019? What do you guys got planned?
well, we decided that we weren't going to discuss that, but because it's you, and because you're the best person ever, I think we're going to do PCKC, Comic-Con, And then I think there's a few that are affiliated with Project Nerd specifically.
Okay.
Are kind of just in the works right now. But there's 6 of them in the group. But we'll go from there. But the big ones. And then I heard, as far as I'm aware, Kansas City Comic Con is an every other year thing. And that's this year, 2019 as well.
Okay.
So,
Pretty cool. All right.
that's all we have set in stone because those are our staples. But
We're open to other things.
we're open
too.
to suggestions.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of suggestions. I mean, a lot. I mean, there's like a convention every weekend, so.
What's one that's in your area that you do?
What's that?
What's one that's in your area that you do?
In my area. So one I will always suggest in my area, Cincinnati Comic Expo. That's in it's typically like the 3rd week of September. But Cincinnati, it's a pretty good show.
Is that one that you do all the time?
Yeah, that was actually my very first show, and then I did it every year. I missed 1 year, and so I'm pretty much back on going every year now.
Perfect.
Did you mention C2?
Oh, we didn't. C2E2?
Yeah.
We'll probably try and go there.
That's back-to-back weekends with Planet. I think so.
No, they did it. It's there's a specific thing, I think.
Is it? I know C2E2 actually changed them for Planet, which was super awesome.
Okay.
But I thought they were pretty close.
Let's let Night Mage go. Thank you guys. Thank you, Night Mage, very, very much for joining us real quick.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Awesome 2018, and we'll see you in 2019.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And
I'm having trouble turning it off.
Kick him out.
I got you. Bye.
Awesome. Love me some Night Mage.
That
What I love me
was
even
great, guys.
Night Mage is valency bonds and things like that for
Yeah,
the atoms. So, oh man, I have no
I want you to try to
level
tell me
anymore.
what now.
I don't know what all the levels are. I know there's like 1P, like 3S. I can't remember all of them. And I don't think 1P and 3S are even one now that I'm thinking about it.
3S is one.
3S is one? Okay.
No 1P though.
Okay. But they basically what it's about is when you excite an atom, the electrons actually move into higher potential levels. And this is kind of an old rudimentary idea of an atom. But if you picture the atom in the center with the nucleus and protons and neutrons in the center, the electrons orbit in these valency bonds that are a certain distance away from the nucleus. And that's, again, an old model of the atom. That's not what they look like right now. To get into quantum physics levels, they're in probability states at each one of these levels. So when you excite an electron or excite an atom, you have a probability that it'll jump up to another state. And when it loses energy, basically, so when a photon of light hits a atom, you can jump an electron up as it absorbs that photon of light, and then when it re-emits that photon of light, the electron will jump back down to a certain energy level. And those energy levels are equivalent to the amount of energy and frequency that is in the emitted photon of light from the electron. I don't remember all the shells, but I know in the older models, they were just concentric circles around the outside, getting bigger and bigger.
Can you tell me how many electrons go in each shell, each valence shell?
I want to say it's 2 in the first one, 4, 8, I think 10. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly how many go into, but like Dale was kind of hinting at there are
I
limits.
know it's like coming back to me as I'm
How
looking at
many
this.
can be in each one. It's been a long time. So to be fair, usually electron chemistry like that is taught, or electrons like that are taught in
There he
chemistry
goes,
class.
making
And it's been a long time since I've
excuses.
taken chemistry. Yeah, it really has been. I don't know much more than that. I haven't dealt with anything. I haven't actually dealt with any of that since
So it's 2, 6, 10, 14, 18.
2, 6, 10, 14, 18.
Yeah.
So I got 2 right. I thought there was an 8, but apparently it's 6.
Yep, it's 1S, 2S, 2P, 3S, 3P, 3D, 4S, 3P, 4D, 4F, 5S, 5P, 5D, 5F, 5G.
Yeah, I would never remember all of that.
I could have gotten everything in the 4. I wouldn't have got the 5 at all.
The general formula is that the nth shell can principal hold up to 2 n squared electrons.
Cool. So 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8, which is 2 cubed. Okay. Plus 2. So it would be 10. Yeah. So 2, 6, 10. That makes sense. Okay.
So
That's Wikipedia. Yeah, Holly, the whole thing about blind science is I'm supposed to be able to do these.
So Holly, this is probably one of the first or second times that you've watched this. Josh has the biggest
science
thing,
ego.
Well, the biggest thing that
everybody criticizes me for.
The biggest criticism I had for Josh for the longest time is he would want to talk about a science thing and give no insight on it prior to the topic. So he'd come in with this long science thing that he had thought of for the last week, and
it just bores the hell out of.
Well,
Drew.
not even a bore. It's not like most of it's somewhat interesting. It's not like it's boring, but what it is you've got this whole thought out thing, and I was like, I know he's been preparing that for quite some time, and let's all try to talk about
Josh's big thing.
I mean, if you're wondering, I've seen.
What kind of cot do you have?
It's a big black cot. That's what I sleep on when I go out to places.
So the biggest
blackest cot.
The biggest pet peeve was that he would have a planned out thing, and I was always perturbed about it. So what I did is I thought about blind science at the beginning of the year, basically, and was like, I'm going to ask Josh a random science question every episode without any forewarning. Well, today we kind of botched it because I put the topic in our group text by accident. Dale replied.
Dale texted him in the group chat.
And I blame Josh, or I blame Drew. I mean,
and alloys are so much easier to talk about.
I was just gonna have you talk about I'll never use alloys again, so I'm not worried about it. But I was just
gonna say you'll never use alloys again.
I'll never use that as a blind question.
Yeah, the topic's just off limits. But this is kind of teasing because next season we're going to have another question segment that we kind of talked about.
Blind social science.
Yeah, so Dale is really
pop culture illiterate.
Pretty much.
Blind culture.
I think pop culture illiterate is the best.
I think we're just going to call it blind sexy.
No.
Or love is blind.
No, we're going to call it pop culture illiteracism.
Fine. But it's basically quizzing Dale on knowledge, and it all stemmed from we were talking about The Office, and Dale had no idea what we were talking about in The Office.
I know certain things about The Office. I know about Jim and Pam.
You didn't know it at the time.
I know about Dwight and who's the guy's main
Michael.
Yeah, that's him.
So for instance, today's kind of pre-prep question for Dale was, could he name I think we just had to have him name three
Of the
Kardashians.
Kardashians.
And he guessed Kelsey for one of them. And then
I got one. I got Kim.
And Kim and Kelsey's not a Kardashian.
So
this would have been a 0 for Dale.
So next year we're going to have a reoccurring character, the Kardashians.
Kelsey.
Kelsey. Oh, Courtney was the fifth one. We couldn't think of the fifth one earlier.
Oh yeah, I think I said
Chloe, Courtney,
Courtney. Yeah,
and Kim.
Yeah.
Anyway,
me and Drew know our Kardashians.
I bet you do.
Thanks, Dale. So yeah, we're gonna have Kelsey Kardashian is our reoccurring.
Kim, Chloe, I'm out. That's still 2. One more than Dale knew.
The Kardashians are going to be a Sexy Nerd Science Sexy Nerd of the Year next year. We need to get some people to cosplay the Kardashians.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of something that we're going to roll out next year that I'm going to really have fun with. So, I mean, if this is our last one, I mean, I'm going to chalk that up to 0.5 of a correct answer.
So I'm okay with giving you that point.
You think so?
I want to.
Than you thought I would have known?
More what now?
Was that more about electrons than you thought I would have known?
No, I thought you would have got it.
Really?
Yeah. We had to learn a little bit in physics classes, so.
Well, and
up to Drew, though.
I was really just the one thing is how many can fit in orbital. And, I mean, you said it like the first number that you said was like two electrons. Yeah. So.
That one's the easy one to remember.
Yeah, 2's basic easy. That's your helium hydrogen right there, guys.
So yeah, that's a win. Yeah. Josh in the year on a win.
So what was that? 11 out of 14?
11 out of 14. 11 out of 14. Let me do some quick math.
Yeah. Tell me what that is there, Dale.
That is a 78.6%.
That's pretty much what I got.
78.6%. I wrote that on.
If I had to average my GPA right now, I think that's what it would be.
Team Ramrod. I wrote it on the paper.
Team Ramrod.
Okay. Well, I think this finishes up our year. We want to thank everybody for watching these live streams, and we want to thank everybody for supporting us on.
These get degrees, Holly.
On sharing all our stuff and liking us and commenting on our live streams and whatnot. Do you guys have anything to say with that?
We do have some other content that I think we were putting out from like the lost years, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's some content on some of our pages that we will be putting out and tweeting about. I saw somebody post on Twitter, and by somebody I mean Dale, because he's the only one that posts on our Twitter. That we do have other content that will be rolling out over the next couple of days.
Dale, don't do that.
You think I'd look good with a square face?
No, you look like a me. Okay, real quick.
Hi, Ashley King. Thanks for joining our podcast.
Hi, Ashley. So real quick, last thing I want to talk about is our biggest post of the year. Good job, Dale, for that post. 167 shares, and like, what was it, 14,000 reach or something like that?
I will read the latest numbers on that post. So I found this post earlier yesterday.
It was yesterday. So just for those of you guys who don't understand the context of this post, we posted yesterday on Sexy Nerd Science a post that has been shared over 170 times.
It's more than like any two of our shows combined.
It got us in one day 30-something likes on our Facebook page. It's one of those things where I think there might actually be people that are here that have watched this because of the post we had, like that might have like popped in.
So we had 173 shares, 3 comments. We had 40 people like or something about the, what is it called? Emotions or whatever.
Yeah.
1,420 people engaged it.
Nice.
So it was one of our biggest posts, and it was literally just a picture in reference to
people that scrolled past it or they reached it. Is 14,619, which was 200 from like an hour ago.
if you guys are new to our Sexy Nerd Science thing that we do here, I just want to say I'm sorry that the first episode you're getting is us doing the last episode of the year, but please go back and watch our other episodes. We have them on our Facebook page because we did some live ones towards the end of the year. We have our other recorded videos on our YouTube, which I think we pretty much have all of them on YouTube now.
Episode 23 is not up. It is edited. I literally just got done editing before we got on this.
So we have a lot of our episodes on YouTube.
You literally just got done playing Overwatch before we started.
And we also have SoundCloud, where all our episodes are on SoundCloud, I think, now. I doubt all our episodes are on SoundCloud.
You don't need to worry about all that.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, for those of you guys just now joining the Sexy Nerd Science podcast group, this is definitely one of the biggest posts we've ever done, and we appreciate you guys for joining, and we want you to check out all our other content, and we will be back with new podcast content in the beginning of the year. So
last thing, I think we were kind of about to get into it, but I wanted to talk about that post.
Yes.
You guys can find us on all those media sites that we already listed, but most importantly, Project Nerd. Go to Project Nerd, find our page, like all the stuff that's on there, and tell them we sent you. So I think that's it. You guys want to do let's think of a really cool sign off that we can all do at the same time. Why don't we say
Fuck you, San Diego? I mean, sorry, what?
why don't we
all our viewership from San Diego?
Why don't we say Bon Voyage? You want to say
Bon Voyage.
Bon Voyage, and then crack the wine bottle on the back of the boat.
Okay. Why Aji?
Yeah, because we don't know how to say
Voyage.
Bon Voyage. No, that's not good. Okay, what about if we say
what if we just end it right now?
Like,
What are the woodpecker?
You want to do a Rocky 3 freeze frame ending?
yeah.
Or
Let's
we
all
just all,
jump
like-
up in the air. Why don't we all jump up in the air?
Because
And
we're
then
not
Dale,
going to be able to time that correctly.
1,
Or
2, 3.